7th class, chapter 1, nutrition in plants. Autotrophic. Auto means self, trophos means nourishment, heterotrophs, hetero, other. Leaves are food factories of plants. Leaves has tiny pores which are guarded by guard cells. Such tiny pores are called stomata. Cell membrane, thin outer boundary, nucleus, centrally located spherical structure, cytoplasm, jelly-like substance, vessels, run like pipes through roots, stem and branches which carry water and minerals. Leaves have green pigment called chlorophyll. It captures sunlight and produces food for plant from CO2 and H2O. This process is called photosynthesis. CO2 plus H2O under sunlight and chlorophyll gives carbohydrates plus oxygen. Photosynthesis also occurs in desert plants like cactus in stems of them by saving water loss from them. Synthesize to prepare chlorophyll contains cells of leaves. Presence of starch, which means pindi padarthalu in leaves, indicates occurrence of photosynthesis. Algae, slimy green patches, can also prepare their own food by photosynthesis. Carbohydrates are made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Proteins are nitrogenous substances. Plants cannot take nitrogen in air, so they take it through roots from the help of soil bacteria and absorb through water and produce vitamins and minerals. Some plants don't have chlorophyll. Example, on host plant by taking its hosts nutrients, and it is called parasite. Insectivorous plants like pitcher plant, jug-like, which traps insects with its pitcher and digests with the secreted juices in the pitcher for nutrients. Saprotrophs are which absorb nutrients from dead and decaying matter are called saprotrophic nutrition. Mushroom packets, mushroom fungi on moist left bread. Examples: mushrooms are fungi. Fungi grows in pickles, leather, cloths and other articles which are left in hot and humid weather for long time. Fungal spores are present in air. When warm and wet things meet, they germinate. Some organisms live together and share shelter and nutrients is called symbiosis. Lichens is an algae, take shelter, water, minerals from fungi and provide nutrients to fungi. Moss-like patches on trees. Rhizobium, bacteria in plant take shelter in roots of plants like gram, peas, mung and beans and other legumes, pea family, and it gives soluble nitrogen to plants, and it takes shelter and food from plants, which is a symbiosis relation. In this way, usage of nitrogenous fertilizers is less in leguminous plants. Plants grow their leaves in many patterns to absorb maximum sunlight. Chapter 2, nutrition in plants. Carbohydrate is a complex substance. Breakage of complex is simpler is called digestion. Snail scraping the grass, ant insects chewing, eagle capturing and swallowing flesh, hummingbird nectar sucking, lice blood sucking, mosquito blood sucking, butterfly nectar siphoning, housefly decaying matter sponging. Starfish feeds on animals with hard shells, calcium carbonate, by bringing her stomach out, withdrawing again. Parts involved in digestive process are called alimentary canal, which is digestive tract, buccal cavity, food pipe, which means oesophagus, and stomach, next small intestine, next large intestine, and next rectum and anus. Generally, digestive tract and salivary glands, liver and pancreas make digestive system by secreting digestive juices. Taking food in is ingestion. 6 to 8 years, milk teeth goes and permanent comes. Jaw teeth are molar, next premolar, next canine, next incisors. Saliva breaks down starch into sugars. Dhatun, palla pulla, tongue backside bitter, which means chedu, next sour, pullani, next salt, next sweet. Stomach is flattened, J-shaped, thick-walled bag. When food enters into stomach, inner lining secretes mucus to protect lining, HCl and digestive juices to break proteins into simpler substances. By HCl makes food bacteria free and helps digestive juices to do its work. Small intestine, 7.5 meter long, which receives secretions from pancreas and liver, and also small intestine wall also secretes juices. Liver, reddish brown, largest gland, secretes bile juice stored in gallbladder. Bile helps to digest fats. Pancreas, cream colored gland below stomach. Pancreatic juice breaks down carbohydrates, fats, proteins into simpler forms and reaches down to small intestine with partially digested food particles, and digestive intestinal juice completes digestion of food into carbohydrates, which is sugars and glucose, proteins, which is amino acids, fats, fatty acids, glycerol, which means adipocytes, which is in adipose tissue, contains triglycerides. Digested food passes to blood vessels is called absorption. Small intestine walls have villi to absorb the nutrients in the food and increase the surface area of the food absorption. carrying of absorbed substances to different organs of the body to build complex substances called proteins are called assimilation. Small intestine has villi and its layers again has villus. Glucose plus oxygen breaks down to carbon dioxide and water and energy is released. Large intestine 1.5 meter long absorbs salt and water from undigested food. Remaining goes into rectum and removal of fecal matter is egestion. 1822 Alexis Saint Martin wounded by shotgun and William Beaumont observed the stomach and working process. Rumen place to store quickly swallowed grass. Oral rehydration solution ORS. Diarrhea due to infection, food poisoning and indigestion. Loss of sugars and salts and water of body badly. CUD curd, partially digested swallowed food of cow. Ruminants are the animals which do rumination. Grass is rich in cellulose, which has carbohydrates. In ruminants, a symbiotic bacteria named Ruminococcus helps them in digestion of cellulose. In CAECUM, sacum, a large sac-like structure. Amoeba, microscopic single-celled organism found in pond water. It does not have shape, it has nucleus, cell membrane, cytoplasm, and it has pseudopodium, which are fake feet, and it takes food particle, which is ingestion and egestion waste. It also has food vacuoles. Fat in goats is easier to digest than cow's milk. Chapter 3 Fiber to Fabric. FLEECE, fleece, hair of sheep or yak. Hair is trapped in wool of sheep a lot and it is poor conductor of heat, so it makes them hot. Coarse, rough texture. Sheep has upper layer coarse and inner soft hair, which is for fibers of wool. Selective breeding for soft hair production. Mohair wool, which is of Angora goats, Jammu and Kashmir hilly regions. Yak wool, which is of Jedala Barre, common in Tibet and Ladakh. Kashmiri goat soft wool, fine shawls, which is called Pashmina shawls. Camels, which is also Ilama alpaca, Ilama like. South America fur yields wool. Rearing, penchadam, shearing, cutting wool from skin. Uppermost layer of skin is dead skin. Sheep breeds are Lohi, good quality wool from Rajasthan and Punjab. Rampur, Bushehr, brown fleek, UP and HP. Nali, carpet wool, Rajasthan, Haryana and Punjab. Bakharwal for woolen shawls from Jammu and Kashmir. Marwari, coarse wool from Gujarat. Patanwadi for hosiery from Gujarat. Hosiery, cloth used for legs. Scouring, washing sheared wool. Sorting, different texture of hairs are separated. BURRS, burrs, small pellicle, gundranivi on wool sweaters. Anthrax, which is a bacterium caused while sorting wool, which is a blood disease, also called sorter's disease. Sericulture, silk farming. Silk moth lays eggs and hatches it to larvae, which is caterpillars or silkworms. They grow size and form pupa in swinging its head in 8 shape and form a protein which can exposure to air hardens and forms cocoon, which is silk fiber. Silk is as strong as steel. Silk moths with different textures. Coarse, tassar silk. Smooth, muga silk. Kosa silk, shiny. Mulberry silk moth most common in India. China is leading silk producer in the world. Taking out threads from cocoon for use of silk is called reeling the silk. Scientific name of mulberry. Morus alba, silviculture also called as arboriculture, growing and cultivation of trees. Apis means bee in Latin. Apiculture, rearing of honeybees. Vicuna wool, Ilama, deer-like animal in southern Chile. World wool production, first China, second Australia, third India, but New Zealand produces best wool. Chapter 4 Heat. Temperature we measure from our body, we use clinical thermometer. Fahrenheit scale 94 to 188 degree Fahrenheit. India adapted Celsius scale for clinical thermometer 35 to 42 degrees Celsius. Normal body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. Weather reports are measured using max minimum thermometer. Laboratory thermometer ranges from minus 10 degrees to 110 degrees Celsius. Laboratory thermometer temperature falls immediately after taken from the measuring substances, but clinical will not because it has a kink, which is a curve which does not allow to fall quickly. Heat is transferred from hotter to colder objects in the form of conduction. Water and air, poor conductors of heat. In water and air, heat is transferred through convection, which means it is traveled from heated bottom to top and pushes cold water or air below till whole thing is heated. Sea breeze. During day, land heats fastly and heat rises, and cold breeze from sea comes to land and to take its places. Land breeze. During night, land cools fastly and hot air from sea comes to land. Heat from the sun comes by radiation. Hollow bricks for insulation in houses from outer temperatures. Chapter 5, Acids, Bases and Salts. Latin word acere, acer, which means acid, which means sour or pullany. Bases basically forms foam or soapy when rubbed between fingers and bitter in taste. To test whether in a substance acid or base, it has indicators. Example: turmeric, litmus, China rose petals, which is Intlo mandaram type chettu, acetic acid, vinegar, formic, ants, citric, citrus fruits, lactic curd, oxalic, spinach, ascorbic, which is vitamin C, amla, citrus fruits, tartaric acid, tamarind, grapes, unripe mangoes, CaOH2, calcium hydroxide, lime water, NH4OH, ammonium hydroxide, which is a window cleaner, sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide, known as lye, which is used for soaps, magnesium hydroxide, MgOH2, which is milk of magnesia, litmus extracted from lichens, which is a natural indicator. Lichens is an algae. When added, red is equals to acidic, blue is equals to basic. Neutral solutions, nor acidic, neither basic. China rose tones dark pink or magenta, which means acid, green, which means base, acid rain, carbonic acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid. Acid turns blue litmus red, bases turns red litmus blue. Phenolphthalein indicator. Colorless means acid, pink means base. When acid and base are mixed in equal amounts, the solution neutralizes and forms salt and water with evolution of heat. Indigestion caused due to excess of HCl in stomach. It is relieved by magnesium hydroxide, MgOH2, which is milk of magnesia. As antacid, it dilutes and neutralizes effect of HCl. For ant bite, which is formic acid, baking soda or sodium hydrogen carbonate or zinc carbonate, which is calamine solution, should be rubbed. DNA in each cell contains acid. Chapter 6, Physical and Chemical Changes. Properties such as shape, size, color and state. Physical properties. These are reversible and no new substance is formed. Rust is different from iron. It is deposited on iron. A change in which one or more new substances are formed is called chemical change or chemical reaction, which is irreversible. Fe plus O2 plus H2O gives rust, which is iron oxide, Fe2O3. Zinc plating or iron galvanization. Stainless steel with carbon and chromium, nickel, manganese. Pure substances can be formed by crystallization process by heating. Chapter 7, Weather, Climate and Adaptations of Animals to Climate. Profound, very great or intense. Humidity, measure of moisture in air. Rainfall is measured by rain gauge. Day-to-day condition of atmosphere at a place with respect to temperature, humidity, rainfall, wind speed, etc. is weather. Elements of weather are temperature, humidity, rainfall and wind speed. All changes in the weather are caused by sun. Average weather pattern of a place is called climate. Jammu Kashmir, hot and wet moderately. Thiruvananthapuram, very hot and wet. Rajasthan, hot and dry. Northeast, wet. 6 months sunrise, 6 months sunset, as low as 37 degrees Celsius. In polar regions, polar bears need to rest frequently to avoid overheating of body due to their perfect insulated body with fat fur in 2 layers. Necessitate, అవసరం వచ్చేటట్టు చేయడం. Huddled, crowd together, penguins. Siberian crane to Rajasthan in Bharatpur, Keoladeo National Park and Har to Sultanpur National Park. Red-eyed frog, which is sticky pads in feet. New World monkey. Lion-tailed macaque, beard ape. It has silver-white mane, which means Zulu. Rainforest covers 6% of Earth's surface and more than half of animal life and 2/3 of flowering plants. Much are still unknown. Chapter 8, Wind, Storms and Cyclones. Moving air is wind. Air exerts pressure. Increased wind speed accompanied by reduced air pressure. Air moves from high pressure to low pressure. Warm air is lighter than cold air, and that's why smoke goes up and warm air expands. Same mass occupies more space, it becomes lighter. For forming ocean currents, air near the equator gets max sunlight and gets heated and rises up, and cold air from 0 degrees to 30 degree latitude rushes in from north and south directions, and this causes oceanic currents. Same happens along 60 degree latitudes, polar regions. Monsoon, which means mausam in in Arabic, which means season. These are seasonal winds in India. Monsoon, when in summer air on land heats and rises and cold air replaces it in the form of clouds and rain in monsoon season. In winter it is reversed. Uneven heating in Great Indian Desert creates winds from southwest direction in summer which carries monsoon clouds. Uneven heating of land and water in winter generates winds from northwest and no rainy clouds, so no rains in winter. In tropical areas, increasing temperature produces strong winds, rising upwards with water and freezes at some point and falls down and meets at some point, creating thunderstorm which is lightning and sound. When in a cloud, heavier negatively charged particles accumulate at the bottom of the cloud and positively charged at the top attracts and creates a lightning. When lightning reaches ground, it creates a channel in air, and after the light disappears, the channel closes and air joins back and creates thunder sound. When water vapor condenses from cloud to rain droplets, it releases heat. In this process, in thunderstorm, it releases heat and creates low pressure, and air around rushes to center of storm and creates this cycle and forms cyclones. Cyclone in India and Africa neighboring areas, Indian Ocean areas. Typhoon in Japan and Philippines. Hurricane in American continent. Tornado, cloud which reaches from sky to the ground due to low pressure. Satellites and radars can detect the cyclones early. 4 lakh km per hour. Lightning heats air around it up to 4 times the surface temperature of sun. Chapter 9, Soil. Soil is arranged in layers. Top layer is called humus, which has rotting dead matter in the soil. Water, clay, sand and gravel are different types of soil matter. Weathering is breaking down of rocks through wind, water and climate. Nature of soil depends on from which rocks it is weathered. Vertical section of soil is soil profile. It has layers called horizons. A horizon or top soil which has rich in humus and minerals. B horizon or middle layer which has less humus, more minerals. C horizon which has small rocks with rocks and crevices which are small narrow openings. Bedrock, hard difficult rocks. Mixture of rock particles and humus is soil, and also living organisms like bacteria, earthworm and roots. Topsoil has types which are clayey soil which is bankamannu, sandy soil iskamannu, loamy soil, sand, silt and clay, పోషకాలున్న మట్టి, silt, deposits of riverbed. Percolation of soil, liquid passing through a filter is called percolation. Water absorbing capacity of soil. Mass, matter with no definite shape. Weight, quantity of matter in a body which exerts downward force by its weight. Moisture, percentage of soil is amount of moisture present in 100 grams of soil. Chapter 10, Respiration in organisms. Cell is smallest structural and functional unit. Breakdown of food which has nutrients and release of energy which has adenosine triphosphate is called cellular respiration. It takes place in cells of all organisms. Breakdown of glucose in presence of oxygen is aerobic respiration. Glucose in presence of oxygen gives carbon dioxide plus hydrogen plus energy. Without oxygen, breakdown of food is anaerobic respiration. Glucose in absence of oxygen gives alcohol plus carbon dioxide plus energy. Example, yeast, single-celled organism. During heavy exercise in absence of oxygen, body does anaerobic respiration and produces lactic acid and energy. Lactic acid C3H5O2. Breathe means one inhalation and one exhalation. Breathing rate of average resting person is 15 to 18 per minute. THORAX mondem, neck and abdomen middle parts. DIAPHRAGM, diaphragm, separates thorax and abdomen. Abdomen, digestive, belly and reproductive organs. Slender, thin, barely sufficient. Percentage of O2 and CO2 in inhaled and air is 21% oxygen, 0.04% CO2. In exhaled air, 16.4% oxygen and 4.4% CO2. Cockroaches have trachea tubes with spiracles as openings to breathe. Gills of fish are projections of skin with blood vessels for exchange of gases. Through stomata, plant takes oxygen and carbon dioxide for energy. In plants, each part can take oxygen independently. Roots take oxygen through root hair. It is dangerous to breathe pure oxygen for long time. Chapter 11, Transportation in animals and plants. Blood is a fluid in blood vessels and transports food from small intestine to other parts of body and carries oxygen to body from lungs and waste for removal from the body. Blood has fluid plasma which has different cells. RBC has hemoglobin which has red pigment. That's why blood is red and it carries oxygen to cells. White blood cells fight germs that enter body. Blood platelets make the blood to clot when wounded. Arteries have thick elastic walls due to high pressure from heart to supply blood. Veins take blood with carbon dioxide to heart to send it for lungs for exhalation. Veins have valves to allow blood to reach only to heart and has thin walls. Pulmonary artery carries carbon dioxide blood to lungs. Pulmonary vein carries oxygen rich blood to heart. Artery తీసుకుపోవడం, vein తీసుకురావడం. Arteries form thin tubes called capillaries and they enlarge and form veins. Heart has 4 chambers, 2 upper and 2 lower. Upper atrium, atria is plural. Lower ventricles. Sponges and hydra are animals which are water in animals. Sessile, immovable. Hydra and sponges. Adult human, 1 to 1.8 liters of urine in 24 hours. Urine consists of 95% of hydrogen, 2.5% of urea and 2.5% of other waste. Some birds excrete uric acid, fishes excrete ammonia. Plant transports water and nutrients from soil using vascular tissue. Xylem from roots transporting to leaves. Tissue is group of cells for particular task. Phloem which transports food from leaves to all plant parts. Plants transpire excess water and it also helps in suction pull in tall trees and also cools down trees. Chapter 12. Reproduction in plants. Vegetative parts. Roots, shoot, buds, stems, leaves. Flowers are reproductive parts of plants. Asexual and sexual without seeds, with seeds. Example for asexual reproduction is sugarcane, potato, rose. Leaf arises at node. Production through vegetative parts, so called vegetative propagation. Potato has eyes for plantation. Bryophyllum, kanuvu chettu. Sprouts on leaves. Plants produce seeds in sexual production. Budding in yeast. Fragmentation in algae. Spore formation in fern, trees and moss. Stamen, male reproductive part. Pistil, female reproductive part. Flowers which have only stamen or pistil are unisexual flowers. Example corn, papaya, cucumber. Both stamen and pistil is flower, bisexual flowers. Example mustard, rose, petunia which is chitpat kayal chettu. Male and female unisexual flowers may be present in same or in different plants. Anther contains pollen grains which produce male gametes. Pistil contains stigma, style and ovary which has ovules. Male pollen grains and female ovule gametes fuse to form zygote. Transfer of pollen from anther to stigma is pollination. Fusion of gamete zygote to process is fertilization. Zygote develops into embryo. Xanthium, sweater sticking kaya. Urena, seed dispersal. Coconut, water, wind, drumsticks. Jerk and swollen blast. Balsam, ganneru like castor, andekayalu. Chapter 13. Motion and time. Types of motion: rectilinear, straight, circular, move around a point, periodic, pendulum motion, rotational, rotate ourselves. Time taken by pendulum to complete one oscillation and is time period. Distance moved by an object is a given interval of time. Let us decide which is faster. Which is distance covered by an object in a unit time is speed. An object changing speed on straight line, non-uniform motion. An object not changing speed on straight line is uniform motion and same as average speed on that object. Slight change in initial displacement of to and fro motion does not affect time period of your pendulum. Time measured by quartz clocks are more accurate. Speed basic unit meter per second. Symbols of all units are written in singular. Example 50 km, not 50 kilometers, or 8 centimeter, not 8 centimeters. 1 microsecond is 1 millionth of a second. 1 nanosecond is 1 billionth of a second. Rockets launching speed 8 km per second. Speed, speedometer. Distance, odometer. If graph on x-axis and y-axis move in a straight line, then that comparison is constant. GNOMON, nomen, triangular part of a sundial that casts a shadow for verifying time. PHERI, PHERY, periphery, to the outline or to the edge. Groove, long narrow cut or established routine or habit. National Physical Laboratory in Delhi. National Institute of Standard and Technology NIST in USA has most accurate clock. Chapter 14 Electric Current and its Effects. Cell symbol. Positive line is thin and long and negative is thick and short. Combination of cells is called battery. Off position open circuit, on position closed circuit. Incandescent emitting light due to heating. Candescent glowing with heat. Tungsten, which is also called wolfram in bulb. Coil in heater is an element. Compact fluorescent lamps CFLs. CFLs have mercury vapor in them which ionizes and emits photons at UV frequency and converted to standard visible light by using phosphor coating from inside. Bureau of Indian Standards BIS in New Delhi. ISI Indian Standards Institution. Steel wool antlutomedi steel. The reason for fuse melt is excessive current due to short circuit or overload. MCBs miniature circuit breakers off automatically when heavy current is passed. Hans Christian Ørsted found electromagnetism. Thomas Alva Edison gramophone motion picture camera. Total 1300 inventions. Carbon transmitter, earphones, small speaker device like. Chapter 15 Light. Image formed by the plane mirror is erect, which is of same size of us. Plane mirror. Erect image, which is virtual image of same size. Concave mirror. Real image on screen when it is near, and erect and virtual on mirror. Example spoon. Dentists use concave mirrors for visibility of enlarged tooth image. Real image which is reflected on the screen. Virtual image which is on the mirror. Concave mirror, short area coverage and shows large image. Convex mirror, large area coverage and shows short image. We can see rainbow only when our back is towards sun. Archimedes, Greek scientist. Newton's disk. All colors disk when rotated it becomes white color. Hypermetropia, which is long-sightedness. Convex lens is used and which is converging lens. For myopia, short-sightedness. Diverging lens, which is concave lens, are used. Concave lens are used in flashlights, spy hole indoors. Convex lens are used in theaters, camera microscopes. Concave mirror, larger image. Convex mirror, smaller and wider view. Concave lens, small. Convex lens, large. Chapter 16 Water, a precious resource. World Water Day, March 22. According to United Nations, 50 liters per person per day. 2003 International Year of Fresh Water. Upper level of initial water filled gaps in soil is called water table. Below this is groundwater. Seeping of water into ground. Infiltration. Aquifer, where groundwater is stored in hard rocks. Scanty, insufficient, erratic, irregular. Bawris, Koneru. Wilting, వాడిపోవడం. Chapter 17 Forests, our lifeline. Breeze, soothing wind or air. Wind, harsh air. Palash, orange color total tree which is used for gulal in Holi. Kair or katechu, high school tree which is galgal kayal chettu like tumma. Kachar, istarakulaga, plywood, pressed 2 or more layers of wood. Seedling, developing stage of plant from seed. Sapling, young tree with slender trunk. Branchy part of tree, evo stem, crown. Katechu is medicine for diarrhea and sore throats. Roof of tall trees is categorized like canopy is tall, next under storage, next shrubs, next tall grasses, next herbs. Millipedes, gajapurulu, microorganisms which make humus and called decomposers. Dynamic living entity. Forest, full of life and vitality. Vitality means great energy and enthusiasm. Chapter 18 Wastewater Story. Later, Tellaburugu 2005 to 2015 United Nations General Assembly declared it as International Decade of Water for Life. Vibrio cholera, which is caused by cholera. Salmonella paratyphi, typhoid, protozoans, dysentery, infection of intestines, blood and mucus constipation. Miscible, mixable, sewage water, household water, wastewater without phases. Network of big and small sewage pipes is sewerage. Ozone and chlorine are high disinfectant. Its odor is pungent. Grit, small abrasive stones. Sludge, semi-solid material in wastewater. Eucalyptus around sewage system can absorb wastewater rapidly and release pure water vapor to atmosphere. Wade, walk with effort in any viscous substances. Novel, new. Meninges, 3 membranes of brain. Meningitis, inflammation of meninges. Hepatitis, inflammation of liver. Byproducts of wastewater treatment are sludge and biogas.